Blend, when we hit midlife, it seems like everything is changing, right? Kids leaving home, parents are aging, our bodies start to ache in weird places. But our next guest says we should not be afraid. Amy Schmidt is the author of Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing Midlife and Beyond. We welcome her to the Morning Blend. Hey, Amy.
Good morning. How are you, Molly?
Good morning to you. It's so great to have you joining us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. And I loved your little opening. I could relate to like everything you were saying. Loved it. Loved it.
Right? Yeah, especially finding ways to be positive. I think we got to get back to the simple things. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. One of the things I love that you tackle in this book, because I've heard this from a lot of women my age, is that we start to feel invisible. And it's not a great feeling as we enter midlife to feel that way.
Exactly. Exactly. Why does that happen? And it happens so much more for women than it does for men, don't you think?
I absolutely think so, especially because guys, maybe it's mostly Hollywood, but men tend to look more distinguished as they age. They grow into greater income and more command of their career and things like that. So talk, if you would, about your story, because I know you share your own story as well as the stories of other women.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you know what? It was one of those things for me in life is that, at 22, I was ready to set the world on fire. Like a lot of Gen Xers, as women, the world was our oyster. The sky was a limit. And so I was ready to go, and news broadcasting was my thing. And then this man came into my life, and 27 years later, and 3 kids, I took on the role of what we call, and it's kind of my little quote, is traveling spouse. A lot of us did that. I did it, no regrets, loved every minute of it. But, I think during that path, a lot of times we forget what we accomplish as women. So in 1997, I put kind of everything on hold. I had my first child, and I started this trajectory of following my husband's moves, which were every, 2 to 3 years. So 11 moves, one internationally to Germany. And,
Wow.
11 moves is a lot. And as a woman, you just do it. You do it, you kind of wear that banner that says, new kid in town, please, be my friend, all of that. You go through all that. But as women, we do that. We master the art of reinvention. We do all that stuff. But all of a sudden, about 5 years ago, I was 45. I had lost my parents. And I sat back and said, there's more here. There's something here that I'm missing that I want to do. And I think a lot of times we get stuck as women. We really do, because we don't just sit back and say, wow, I did that. All of these things that you accomplish. You don't sit back and revel and create your highlight reel of what, you've accomplished to this point in your life. So I was at that point at 45, and you might be able to relate to this when you're sitting around with friends and you're saying, aging parents, body changing, relationships changing. All of a sudden, maybe your kids are off to college, or you're empty nesters, and you're sitting across from your spouse or partner, and you're like, wow, okay, now it's just us. And all of these conversations were the same things I was having with, all of my friends. So we shared this common thread. I think we share these commonalities at midlife where we say, okay, who am I? Like, where did Amy go? There's something there. So I decided to take action on it and start a podcast 6 months before I turned 50, called Fearlessly Facing 50, kind of crazy, and didn't know how to do that. And I also wrote this book because I wanted to open the dialogue for women to share my story and say, you know what? If I can do it, anybody can do it. We just have to keep living forward. And I think that's, where we get caught. We get stuck sometimes as women.
And I want to talk about a good tip that you have for keeping life moving forward, as you just said. One of the things I love is that you say when you reach this midlife sort of crisis, if I can use that word, you found opportunity. But I thought your wording was interesting because you said, I realized I had more to give. A lot of people wonder, isn't there more to life than this? Isn't there more I can take, more I can get? But you had this shift where I think it was like, I have more to give. A lot of us feel tapped at midlife, especially if we have aging parents and we're taking care of kids and all of those things.
Right. That is so true. And you can feel that way. I mean, you can. And you think, I was asked on an interview recently, they said, Amy, hey, what's the next 10 years look like for you? I was like, in 10 years, I'm going to be 60. Like, if you would have asked me that at 30, I would have thought 50 was over the hill, outdated, totally, what is she going to do? She's old. And I just had that mind shift of right now at 50, I feel more empowered, more ready to learn new things. I think that's a big part of this age, especially for women. Engage in lifetime learning. Go out there and put yourself out there. Get out of your comfort zone, what I call cannonball with confidence. Have those moments where you just kind of reach outside and do something different. So that's what I think I've really challenged myself around. And I encourage women to do that because you can get stuck. You can feel old. You might not be able to ski the black diamonds like you used to. You might not be able to do certain things you used to, but you still can recalibrate and still do them in a different way. And I think the other part, at least for me, that's been so great is the fact that my kids are grown now and they view me through a totally different lens. Like, you get a text from your adult daughter who goes, "Hey mom, break a leg today," or "Wow, I'm so proud of you," or "Hey, can you tell me how you did that on Instagram?" Which is really a true story because I'm not socially that great. I'm learning, I'm a work
I
in progress.
love that so much, Amy. I love that. We ran out of time. I would love for you to join us some other time because I think there's so much here that we can share with women, especially about moving on in midlife. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Fantastic.
It was fun.
And you can find Amy's book on Amazon, or to learn more about her and her weekly podcast, you can visit her website. It's fearlesslyfacing50.com. Love that.